You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
What's going on, U.S. Cellular customers? I've got good news, so don't hit skip, at least not yet. I'm talking about their special customer event, Us Days. What is Us Days? It means exclusive offers just for their customers, just to say thanks, like $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet. No, I didn't just misread that. They must really like you. Us Days at U.S. Cellular, exclusive offers just for you, just to say thank you. Right now, U.S. Cellular customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet. Terms apply.
Lee is the lead play in our offense. We ask our YN or a tight end to open up somewhere between 6 feet and 9 feet, get an isolation with the linebacker. Come to tackle, take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, to drive down on the first man who is inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. Text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim live in Green Bay. If you're hanging out in the comments, you know Jacob's with us tonight too. So, gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
That's a perfect response. We had another eventful day. Go ahead, Jacob. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I'll let you maybe do a summary for those that probably either don't know or about to find out.
Listening on the pod.
Those of you listening
on the pod.
Yeah, legit.
Oh, man. So
you're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
So essentially, today we got hit with our second copyright strike on YouTube. There's some bad
round of applause.
So along with that comes a 2-week suspension. So I like to joke with people and tell them that I pulled a Jair Alexander. I walked out to the 50 and said I was the captain, and gave me a 2-week suspension. So I can't figure this thing out, guys. You've seen us breaking down tape in the past. It had to have been the NFL game tape this time. It had to have been. There was nothing else on that other than the intro, and the intro is passing copyright checks. So it's NFL tape, game tape, broadcast footage has always triggered copyrights. You guys have heard me say it from the beginning. And it always says, this is not a copyright strike. The party allows you to use it. They are now monetizing the content, though, right? Which is cool. Like we've always said, okay, cool. Yeah, let them make money. It ain't a big deal. But obviously, I think that now they're just kind of picking and choosing. Hey, if we want to slap them with a third-party copyright strike, we will. And that's essentially what's going on. So, nonetheless, we're here on Rumble. I'm so sick and tired of wasting airtime talking about YouTube and explaining to everyone, hey, here's what's going on. Here's why you're not seeing us on YouTube. But it's just going to have to be one of those resources where we're just talking on there and nothing else. That's the only way we're going to be able to clear, because at any point they can snap their finger and do that. And again, it all began when we had another podcaster speak out on the show a bit, and then we had 2 listeners magically show up in the chat one night and cause a ruckus. And basically, I don't know if you guys remember, but that one comment said there will be consequences, or there are consequences. I don't know if you guys remember that, but so that's essentially what you're dealing with. But the beautiful thing on Rumble, you ain't got to worry about it. So here we are on Rumble and X. So with that being said, M. Smitty in the chat. I love it. He says, Clayton pissed off the deep state of NFL films.
Man,
Need to get Greg Cosell on the line, man. I'm waiting for us to get hit with a copyright strike for the Bill Belichick ring cam. That's the one I'm waiting on, man. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, let's kick off with a little Musgrave talk. You guys good with that?
Can I say one more thing on that, Clayton?
Absolutely, Jacob. You got the floor.
Just if you guys could, maybe help us out, because I was surprised at how many people that were, when the last time we got kicked off of YouTube, that couldn't find us and had no idea that we were still doing live shows every day. So if you guys are friends on any kind of social media on X or anything like that, just maybe, or if you can even go back and comment on the old streams, I found that helps a little bit. Say, hey, we're going to be we're in the clink for 2 weeks, and you can find us still going live on Twitter, X, or Rumble. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just share it around and let people know where we're at. And again, we were beginning to do the YouTube intro, mentioning Rumble, jumping into the show and ending the YouTube stream. Today, I forgot to do that. We were being real extra, like very cautious. Today, it just slipped my mind. So I'm pretty sure that's how they got us. So as they said in the movie Friday, next Friday, they got my daddy like that years ago on a Cadillac. You know what I'm saying? So here we are. What does that have to do with football and the Packers? Absolutely nothing. But let's go to the article here. This is pretty cool, man. 33rd Team put out an article, and it says 2024 NFL predictions. Who will be this year's breakout tight ends? And the very first person on the list is Mr. Luke Musgrave. All right. It says the 2023 NFL draft was loaded with tight end talent. Dalton Kincaid, Sam Laporta, and Michael Mayer were the top 3 tight ends in the class, and all had success as rookies. However, one tight end who went under the radar was Luke Musgrave, whom the Green Bay Packers selected as a mid-second round pick. I believe he was number 42, if I remember correctly. Musgrave missed most of the 2022 college football season because of a grade 3 MCL tear, but still participated in the NFL Combine. Despite not being 100% healthy, Musgrave posted a 9.78 RAS after running a 4.61 40 at 253 pounds. His 1.54 10-yard split was one of the best for a tight end and weighing more than 250 pounds, and it showed up on the field. Goes on to say, while he wasn't a full-time player as a rookie, Musgrave caught 34 passes for 352 yards and a score. He averaged 34 yards per game before he suffered a lacerated kidney. I try not to laugh at that, but it's just it sounds so dramatic, doesn't it? Like it's lacerated his freaking kidney on the football field. So it says, which caused him to miss nearly 2 months. The good news is that he is fully recovered and should be the starting tight end in 2024. The Packers selected 2 tight ends on day 2 of the 2023 NFL draft. Tucker Kraft was the other. He played a significant role after Musgrave went down, but has missed the entire offseason rehabbing from a torn pectoral muscle that has allowed Musgrave to see even more work as the first team offense. Musgrave could be featured target soon rather than later in an offense with ascending quarterback Jordan Love. His ability to run deep routes combined with his size and long speed will make him a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses. He isn't the most dynamic player after the catch. I think that's a true assessment. But his game has some Jimmy Graham-like traits. It wouldn't be surprising to see them all unlocked in year 2. So really exciting stuff to see that's who they led off with, who could potentially break out this year, being Luke Musgrave. Thoughts on that, guys? How do we think Luke Musgrave is going to do this year?
I think he's kind of under him a little bit, finally, He looked alive.
I'm sorry, Tim. Are we getting some feedback somewhere? Let's see if it's Emilio. Emilio.
God,
Are you running a generator over there, dude? What are you doing?
Probably. I don't know. What do I need to move?
He's got 18 different Milwaukee tool chargers plugged in.
That's probably what it is, actually.
Yeah, you're coming in real hot, too.
Okay.
So make sure the right mic is picking up. You're over a grinning too, man. I don't know. I feel like this was planned or something. No, he's muted now.
Okay. Did that fix it, or am I still?
That's better, ain't it, guys?
There we go.
a little better, yeah.
It's always something on this show, is it not?
What's going on, Emilio?
Nothing. I just had a ribeye and a half, and some Brussels sprouts and bacon. I'm full, but I'm probably going to go back for seconds once we're done here.
Nice.
Right. Cool.
Okay.
I'm ready to roll.
What do you think about YouTube?
Oh,
just real quick.
If you have any rocks in your yard, you can tell YouTube to go ahead and kick them. All right.
Nice. Good burn.
Tim Musgrave, man, what do you think? now Tim's mid-drink, of course. Tim was
Yeah, he's a good tight end,
Jacob,
All right.
you're up, man.
I will say one thing. I think that there's two really interesting teams with their tight end situations. One being, and for the same situations, it's Musgrave and Kraft in Green Bay, and the Raiders that went and got Michael Mayer last year, and then this year turned around and got Brock Bowers. Two really young and up and coming tight ends. And most of the time you see a team that focuses, they got their one stud, their Kelsey, their Andrews, their Laporta, Hawkinson, whatever you want to insert name here. But very few teams have that dual threat at tight end. So the Packers, and like I said, the Raiders are kind of unique in that situation where really young guys with a lot of talent. And I always forget how Musgrave, I mean, he had a 9.71 RAS. And like you talked about, he did that while he was hurt. So imagine what I think his numbers could have been, probably almost close to a perfect 10. And that body is 6'5", running 4.6 at 250. That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely nuts.
And how flexible he is too. I mean, how many times have we seen in the rewinds that he's flexed all the way outside the numbers, up against the boundary. He comes inside, they put him at wing. He's all over the place. So he's going to get those options, different routes, different mismatches. I think we got a dog.
Yeah. Let's relive his first touchdown catch. Y'all want to do that real quick? Since we're not on YouTube and we can't get, smacked on the bottom here.
Oh. Love. Two fakes, and he finds Musgrave for what might be the knockout punch on the first touchdown of the rookie's career.
100% in the bag, Matt LaFleur vintage play call right here.
Love that play call. The double fake. Oh.
Yeah, you're basically doing a double swing fake here, right? You're going swing left, swing right, and then that tight end leak.
Dude, it's just such a beautiful play, the way he rolls, the way Jordan rolls out with it's perfect. Like that might be my favorite play call that I've seen this call in a couple seasons.
Absolutely. And what's cool is they did it against the Rams, who's a part of the Shanahan tree. And if I remember correctly, they stole it from Shanahan, who ran it like 2 weeks before, which is kind of cool. So copycat league. What were you going to say, Emilio?
I was just saying, and in that one, he's attached as a little chip block, works off, and then a little route. Just get behind the linebacker's hips, and he's open, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful play there. Love the deception. Beautiful execution, like Tim said, just absolutely Matt LaFleur being in his bag.
Mm-hmm.
So that was his first, I believe that was his first touchdown catch. We'll have that game coming up on Rewind here real soon too. That'll be a lot of fun. Now we've also got arguably, what's that?
Didn't we already hit the Rams?
Did we hit the Rams already?
Yeah, that was like week 8. I think I remember you and me did that one. I think.
That's right. Yeah, that was week 9. Never mind. Yeah, I'm trying to. Who am I thinking of? We got coming up because we got a couple wins coming up after Tampa. I know everybody's going to be busy for the Tampa game. I can't make that show that night. But yeah, so you're right. That was week 9, so we did already see that. Here was we'll definitely be showing this one a little later in the season, the off season here. This is the play against Dallas with the what I call the dragon wheel.
Jones run this down their face. Fake it to him here. Love back foot. That's a man wide open. It's going to be caught by Musgrave. He is in.
You got to love this play call. So the reason it's called dragon wheel, notice Musgrave is going to leak out. He's going to kind of run a shallow cross or a drag and then turn it into a wheel. That's why it's called the dragon wheel. And again, you got that boot action. He's just butt naked in the trailer park.
Wide open.
Yeah. Like I said, Tim, once again, dude, Matt LaFleur in his bag right here, bro.
Yep. Not the greatest throw in the world from J Money there, but certainly good enough to get it done. And good job by the baby reindeer here, staying on his feet, doing his thing. Musgrave's getting there, though. He's like I was saying earlier, I think he's getting his legs under him, finding that balance. That's a big athletic body there with a lot of speed and strength. So agility is something that's kind of coming as he goes here. But he's looking better. I can't wait for this year.
Yeah, definitely.
And there that time he's on the wing, starts on the inside of the field, works his way to the outside again, so that the dude can make plays all over. And Matt, basically with the same kind of idea on the last play, we got to play action right, drawing him right, but all of the wide receiver action is bringing him back across left. So the only guy, left deep on the right is Musgrave. Matt needs to get a little bit more respect on his play calling and his scheming. I was listening to a couple pods lately, man, and they're just they always mention Kyle and Sean, and McDonald a little bit, but no, Matt needs some respect, man.
We got to bring Lombardi home before we'll even sniff any respect. And even then, it'll all be backhanded and followed by a little bit of hatred because, we're the team they love to hate and sleep on in this league. I really believe that. So I think if we get over the hump, man, there's going to be some respect on Matt LaFleur's name for sure.
Definitely. So when you look at the top graded tight ends in the league, now keep in mind, we run a lot of 12 personnel. We mostly ran 11. So anyone in the top 32 you would consider starting caliber, right? And these are sorted by offensive grades according to PFF. So if you climb down, look where Musgrave lands in the 25 spot. So obviously well within that top 32. As a rookie, pretty impressive. When you look at some of the other rookies, Dalton Kincaid, he was taken much higher than Luke Musgrave. They basically graded out less than a point apart, right? I'm trying to see if there's any other rookies in here that got taken last year. Like you said, Michael Mayer was one, right? Which you don't see him on that list, correct? He must be a little lower. So
was Trey McBride a rookie last year?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he's been in the league for some time. But yeah, nonetheless, Luke Musgrave grading out in the 25 spot throughout the league. And then obviously you can really see him turn it on toward the end of the year. You see in week 9, 68.3, week 10, 72.7, dipped a touch against the Chargers to 60.3, and then came right back in week 18 after the injury, 76.3, 93.4, and even the loss to San Francisco, I think we lost by 3 points in the playoffs, graded out 75.9 in that game too. So pretty impressive, man, for a rookie campaign anyway. Now you heard them mention the other rookies taken at the tight end position. Here's what's cool. I went through and found my draft board from 2023, and we took Musgrave at 42. If you guys will remember, look where Musgrave was on my board, number 27. So we got the 27th overall prospect in the draft, according to my draft board. And you guys now know how I build my draft board. You pretty much experienced it the whole offseason, me putting it together. We get the 27th best prospect at 42. I mean, that dude just fell right in our lap, and it's because there was such a run, I think, on the tight ends earlier. Now, you see Dalton Kincaid, I had him slightly higher at 23. Michael Mayer, pretty much neck and neck with Dalton Kincaid at 22. I think those were the top tight ends. So I had Musgrave as the third best tight end. Obviously, Darnell Washington, I think was his name, out of Georgia. Many people were talking about him potentially going to Green Bay because of the measurables. And then it kind of dropped off just a touch down to Sam Laporta. I had it to 64 spot, believe it or not. So, it's pretty cool to see you get the 27th best prospect at 42. Good value. That's just Goody working the board, Tim, like always.
Yeah, man. Let Goody cook, right? That's what we keep saying. We don't always understand or agree with the moves. We talked about Jaden Reed the other day. The Jaden Reed pick kind of caught some people off guard. And that's just a great GM doing what great GMs do, which is knowing every single player that's on the radar and, making your move when it's necessary. So extremely high value pick there, I think. And that's not the only one in the last 2 years off the top of my head. I mean, Goody's had a few really good high value picks. So keep up the good work, man. I'm happy he's our GM. I really am.
Yeah, no doubt. Jacob, what do you think, man, as far as how these tight ends lined up? I mean, that seems pretty accurate, doesn't it? Mayer, Kincaid, Musgrave, pretty close together there. Obviously, Sam Laporta, now he balled out this year. There's no doubt about that. He's looking like he's the best tight end in that class, but really happy with what they did get in Musgrave, man.
Yeah, and obviously we've heard from multiple people and players and coaches that tight end is one of the hardest positions to jump right into and actually affect the game. I would argue that as of late, you seem to have more and more people at that position, specifically last year, with guys like Laporta and really coming out and splashing, and how Hawkinson did, and Kyle Pitts was good for a short splash, it seemed like. And seems like that at the beginning of the year, Musgrave, the game was a little fast for him. He's still obviously he's like a baby giraffe, like Tim said, trying to catch the ball and locate the ball and then run with the ball and not fall over it. But as the year progressed, if you want to pull up that PFF grading too, I would bet money that coincides with the success of Jordan Love as well. So as that season went on, they both got more comfortable with each other, more comfortable with the offense. And then I think that actually like you said, I didn't realize he graded that well towards the end of the year, specifically that game in Dallas. So it does give you a lot of hope. And what's even better is that on those times while he was out with that kidney injury, that Tucker was able to shake some of his cobwebs or dust or get this game speed maybe at a level where he could start building his craft. No pun intended. So he actually, see what I did there, guys? He actually, though, I think really, I would not be surprised if Tucker Kraft, not that he's better because I think their skill sets are different, but he maybe is a more well-rounded tight end for what the Packers want to do with him. And he may not be as flashy as Musgrave, but I think he frees up LaFleur to do a lot of.
What's going on, U.S. Cellular customers? I've got good news, so don't hit skip, at least not yet. I'm talking about their special customer event, Us Days. What is Us Days? It means exclusive offers just for their customers, just to say thanks, like $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet. No, I didn't just misread that. They must really like you. Us Days at U.S. Cellular, exclusive offers just for you, just to say thank you. Right now, U.S. Cellular customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet. Terms apply. You know, in the hobby, it's not easy of being a fan of ripping packs or repacks. We always hype ourselves up thinking we're going to get some kind of a mint signed Jordan Love card or something. But with zero transparency on available cards and hit rates, it's all just a shot in the dark. That is until now. Introducing slab packs from arenaclub.com, the only repack that provides real value, a complete view of all possible cards, and clear hit rates for each one. Now when I buy slab packs on Arena Club, I finally feel like I know what I'm getting. I don't know if you saw the video me and my son did. That was us on arenaclub.com looking for new cards for my kid. Still on our YouTube channel. You should check it out. They have an incredible website. Slab packs are way better than mystery packs. Immediately after your pulls, they put your cards safe in a vault. So whether you're buying, selling, trading, or displaying, Arena Club's got the card collection platform that you have to check out. Right now, you can get 10% off your first purchase by going to arenaclub.com/packdaddy. That is a crazy offer. 10% off a $400 slab pack. That's $40 right there. Anyways, that's arenaclub.com/packdaddy for 10% off your first purchase. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply.
Have you ever experienced turbulence on a flight and wondered why?
And you can see all the terrain around you. You've got no issue with visibility or anything?
No, everything's PG.
Maybe you've sat on the tarmac for hours wondering why your plane isn't moving.
Well, we're outside here. They're saying the ramp is closed. They won't let us park because of Air Force One.
Listen in on the conversations between pilots and air traffic controllers on the Air Traffic Out of Control podcast.
510 Whiskey declaring an emergency. There's smoke in the cabin. I need to make a landing right now on 31 left.
We have the most interesting, wild, and funny ATC recordings you will ever hear. Check out Air Traffic Out of Control wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Different stuff just because of his makeup.
Thick.
He is thick. That's exactly right.
I think that's a great point, though, Jacob, because, you know, if Tucker Kraft didn't get that shot, we probably still wouldn't know what he is. But then again, looking at it the other way is like, what if Musgrave had that extra time and was healthy during all that? Do you think that climb would have kept, continue to happen? His grade, if he had 6 more games, where would his grade have been? So I like both of those points, man. And like you said, if we have a 2-headed monster in the tight end room, I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Both of these guys willing to get dirty in the run blocking too.
Mm-hmm.
You got to love it.
You have to. Yep. You have to. I mean, how else are you going to get yourself open in the pass game? The reason why they bid on that play action on that dragon wheel was Aaron Jones, was tearing it up, and they had to respect it.
Yep. And Musgrave sold that block too.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, for me, if I'm needing a blocker attached, just an attached Y, I want Tucker Kraft out there.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to choose between the two tight ends just on a day in and day out basis, I'd want Musgrave on the field for that big playability for sure.
Right. Right.
I
And you
think
want them to be interchangeable, right, Clayton? You don't want it to be, a telltale. If Tucker's attached, then, we're running right. We never want that to happen.
I think Tucker's receiving abilities are a little underrated, to be honest.
Yeah.
He reminded me of just a really, like I said, once he gets a little more confidence in another couple of years, I'd say another couple months where he really starts to grow into his body and his skill set. Like I could see him being, I don't want to say Gronk-like, but like just he's another athletic freak. He scored, I think, in the high nines in this RAS as well. So
definitely. Yeah, and again, his drop. I don't think he had a drop until the San Francisco game. I believe it was. He being Tucker Kraft. I don't even know if it got ruled as a drop. I do remember it hitting his hands. I just don't know if it was actually ruled a drop or not. M. Smitty in the chat says, feel like Kraft seeks out the confrontation and likes to play physically. And it kind of feels like Musgrave doesn't. He kind of, not that he won't, but he's more of that elusive type. At least he tries to play that way. Tucker Kraft's just, I'm going to hit you out in the mouth. And I think it's important to have both those players. But you make a great point, Emilio. They're not so different that you can kind of see, okay, right on the field, here's how they're going to use them. Because, Tim, we broke down the Giants game earlier. What did we see? We see Tucker Kraft playing all the way out on the boundary, just like Musgrave did, right?
Yep. So a lot of that. We saw A.J. Dillon out on the boundary too. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're not afraid to use a lot of that talent that we have. And, like Emilio was saying, the versatility is huge, man. You can get in there, whether you're attached or whether you're split out, it doesn't matter. You're still a threat, and I love it.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Chewy in the chat said, are we starting earlier than 8 now? Not regularly. I had to start 30 minutes early because I got to pick Mandy up at the airport here in about roughly – I got to leave here in roughly 40 minutes. So that's why we start a little early. So we'll be back to normal time tomorrow for sure. Let's see here. M. Smitty says Musgrave more of that finesse style tight end. I would agree with that for sure. All right, Jacob, you said you hit an article by Paul Brettel earlier. You want to kind of just tell us a little bit about that article? Again, I don't want to put it on the screen because without checking with Paul. And hey guys, let's read the article together one time. You know what I'm saying? But definitely, if you guys get a chance, go show him some love. I'm sure he tweeted it out as well. But it's over at msn.com as well. But Jacob, tell us a little bit about that, or at least maybe one or two things that stood out to you about the article that Paul wrote. Because I think the headline was the Packers still have an open roster spot heading into minicamp. Is that right?
Yeah, the gist of it was that the Packers generally are allowed 91 players because of the Kenneth Odumegwu.
Yes.
Yeah, he's that
Nigeria's finest.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
The transfer player or whatever, so he doesn't officially count as a roster spot. So technically we could have 91 players in addition to him, I believe. And right now for the last few days, if not weeks, we've had only 90 since we released one of our D linemen, I think on an injury settlement. But so I'm wondering, one, what you guys think about that, why they wouldn't have filled that position if they're comfortable with the people they have, or if you think maybe Goody has a plan on sniping, which he commonly does every year, sniping a few stragglers from other teams, maybe guys that have been waiting on some injury stuff, or what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. What do you think, Emilio?
Yeah, I mean, having the option is always nice, right? So I don't know when it actually happens before training camp, but don't they have like releases that they have to get cut down to the 91? So maybe you could have a pickup like that, but eventually we still got to get down to 53. So maybe Goody's like, all right, one less on the docket, but no, I think that he'll fill it eventually. I just don't know when or where. I hope he's got an eye on somebody.
Yeah. The other thing that sticks out to me about the article, Jacob, is how he pointed out the cap space. Normally we like to operate with somewhere between $8 to $12 million in cap space this time of year. So when you go into the season, you've got a little bit of room that if an injury occurs, you need to maneuver around a touch. But we got since the Devondre Campbell cap hit dropped off, what is it, 30 million? Am I thinking right? We're under the cap.
35, I thought, something like that.
So that's what I was going to wonder, is if that has anything to do with, one, the fact that Goody either feels so confident in his starting squad, the backup squad, and the bottom of the roster, like we've talked about. Because if you think about it, we can go through almost each position group, and it's hard scratching your head trying to figure out who you're going to cut, who you're going to send to the practice squad, who you're going to take a chance on letting hit free agency. So I wonder if that's even more like he's like, I can't handle any more talent. I mean, that's me being hopefully optimistic there. But another one, like you said, maybe is the fact that they're trying to leave as much free cap for when they restructure or re-sign Jordan, or they're trying to think of something down the road where they're restructuring this in person's contract. I feel like they're going to do a lot of magician type stuff with the cap. We never know until it happens. So
I think they're playing all the cards they can right now. I mean, look at making Alex Magoo a receiver, trying to protect him and just kind of, conventional or unconventional approach. I think everything's on the table. And I think, we talked about Kenneth Odumegwu, who is, the part of the NFL International program. From what I hear, he's been progressing along pretty well for a guy that, played soccer most of his life and started playing football, maybe a couple years ago. So I'm wondering if they're thinking long-term ahead, as far as his position on the team, whether or not it counts against the roster spot or not. They could be looking at, the future, with him and his position group too. So I think Emilio brings up a good point too. Like, ultimately we got to get down to 53. There's going to be a lot of movement between now and, the season. So, I mean, I don't know what to think at this point other than you got to just attribute it to the front office just playing their cards right now.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing too is like when you talk about that 30 million in cap space, you could front load Jordan Love's contract and kind of take a good chunk of that cap space this year and save it in the future. But the reality is that cap space is going to roll over regardless. So whether we spend it this year or spend it next year, the bottom line is still going to be the same, So it's going to be interesting to see what they do moving forward for sure. Now, here's the thing too. If you come out, and I'm not rolling this out, let's fast forward ahead to the regular season. Let's say you start the season pretty strong and you come out and you 4-1, 5-1 start, and you're approaching the trade deadline. I think it's week 8 or week 9, whenever it is. And a piece that could potentially move your, swing the pendulum enough to kind of put you in a better situation to possibly win a championship. You get all that extra cap space in this year. You don't have to jump through the hoop to clear that out. You could go grab someone if you want to, right? Chances are, though, with what we know of Goody, if they are ahead of the curve there and they get off to a strong start and, they're 4-1, 5-1, whatever it may be, he would probably just kind of stay pat and say, all right, let's roll with what we got here, right? Nonetheless, the franchise is in a great situation, in my opinion.
And if anything, I could see Goody trading away somebody like we did with Rasul. You know what I mean? If he thinks that for whatever reason we have a strong room, Goody's not afraid to pick up them third rounders. He got any fourth rounders back there? Got any fifth rounders?
And also, he was willing to let AJ Dillon walk, right?
Right.
And luckily we got AJ for a good price. Ed is dreaming over here. He's running in her sleep right now. All 4 legs. She's going. I don't know if she's chasing a rabbit or what, but yeah. Speaking of AJ Dillon, this is pretty cool. I know you sent this too, Jacob. So AJ Dillon tagged Tucker Kraft in this tweet. So obviously Midwest versus everybody tweeted this out, said, I want to eat cheese curds with you for the rest of my life. So obviously it shows a Packer fan in what appears to be a Ray Nitschke jersey proposing in front of a Culver's sign. And says, will you marry me? Love, RJ. RJ is obviously the perfect name for this scenario too. Right? I mean, you could tell, you could look at that guy. I think he's got a mullet, so you could tell that's an RJ. But nonetheless, AJ Dillon, I love that he tagged Tucker Kraft and said this was Tucker Kraft.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys are familiar, but Tim, I live in more of a rural part of Wisconsin, especially if you go anywhere 20 minutes away from me. We have what are called northern hillbillies up here. Basically, my dad's one, my grandpa's one. All we do up here is basically they hunt and fish, eat Culvers, grow mullets, drive 4-wheelers, tractors, and ski-doos and all that kind of stuff. So you just gotta, I'm telling you, it's a weird, you even find some that have like a weird northern southern twang. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a mix between a Youper and a southerner. It's weird, I'm telling you.
Well, you can tell. I mean, he put on his best Packer jersey for the occasion, and she
had it dry cleaned, Tim.
Yeah, and she wore the best leggings she had, and they got put together real nice and went down to the Culvers. That's beautiful.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
I will say this out of like I've had 5 major family members die in the last 5 years. Not trying to woe is me, right? But what's hilarious about it is that like 3 or 4 or 5 relatives will wear full on Packer jerseys and hats to their funeral because that's what they would have wanted. Like they're diehard Packer fans. So
love it, man. I love it. It's like that in Kentucky too, especially back when the program was just humming. I mean, you'd see people at church with Kentucky Wildcat, T-shirts on and stuff. It was just like that was their good, I'm gonna wear my Kentucky basketball shirt today. That's the way it works. So Chewy says, I've always said Wisconsin's a lot like Tennessee. Hey, Chewy, I relate to that because when I went to Wisconsin, I didn't know what to expect the first time. And when I got up there, I'm like, as soon as I got north of Milwaukee, man, I'm seeing Kenny Chesney on the billboards. I'm like, all right, this feels like home. This is kind of cool. So, pretty neat, man.
Yeah, you think we could get some? You think we could catch a picture of someone taking a knee in front of Cookout, Clayton? Maybe.
Oh, in front of Pals, bro.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah, Emilio finally got to experience Pals.
That was delicious.
It's a cool spot. It's a fast food joint that's really, really good. It's local here in the Tri-Cities. The other day, ETSU Barstool Instagram account, right, which ETSU is the local university here that's got a college football team, they're FCS. And it came across the wire that they're going to start potentially doing advertising on the field. And immediately, Barstool ETSU put a Pals logo at the 50-yard line. I was rolling. You're the first person I thought of, too, there. Emilio, haven't tried it for the first time.
That was absolutely delicious. Yeah, appreciate Manny bringing that.
Yeah.
What kind of food is it?
It's a fast food joint. It's not dine in like
burgers or tacos.
They get a little bit of everything. They got burgers, they got hot dogs. Their breakfast is good. They get these things called cheddar rounds. Oh my god! It's just this. It's
is that like a Tennessee cheese curd. Is that like? What?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah,
cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
So it's basically a ball of hash brown that's got cheese woven into it too, and then deep fried to a perfect golden crisp. You had those, didn't you, Emilio?
Yeah. Oh, did I? That bag was gone.
Yeah, they'll hurt you. Like Bo said, Bo knows they'll hurt you too, man.
Yeah.
Too much cheese, but
definitely would. Delicious.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Chris Nichols in the chat says, I'd like to see Goot at a veteran corner. I don't think the depth is enough yet. I wouldn't mind that at all. Go out and grab another corner for sure. Again, I'm afraid that Ballantyne is going to be the new Rudy Ford. He's going to play the best in his position group, or one of the best, other than Jair probably, and not get a chance to really win that starting job. But I hope they give him a legit shot. But I'll be totally cool with that. Would you guys? United Bates in front of the Oval Office. What the hell's going on there? What do you guys think about that as far as a corner? Let me go and get this picture off here. These people are going to be mad when they see it. So
I think we might need to do a little look at the availability of some of these veteran corners. What is who's still floating around out there? I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I just would like to kind of see who's out there, who's available.
We need to do that on the show coming up. Yeah.
I would be opposed to it, and here's why. What did you call this?
Progress stoppers.
Progress stoppers. And I see an absolute deep well of talent between Valentine, the possibility of Stokes, and then let's not forget about my homie, 7th round wonder in the making, the future best 7th rounder that we've ever had in the history of the human beings, Kalen King.
I didn't say it. He said it.
Kalen King is going to be amazing. I can feel it, and that's hopefully saying that Jaya is going to stay being Ja, and that he'll be shut down corner number 1, obviously. But then we have 4 to 5 guys, and that's not to mention some UDFA or some free agent that Goody's going to sign is going to end up making a splash. And I just really think Hafley's going to get the best out of these guys. And like Tim said, I don't want to go out and spend money, because you're going to have to give I don't want to say a significant amount of money to a free agent, but if he's anybody that's worth bringing in at this point, you'd expect that it's maybe an old name that's kind of washed.
Yep.
Yeah, like a Stephon.
We have to remember that that Ballantyne is a veteran himself. I mean, Ja is a veteran. Hell, Eric Stokes is a veteran at this point.
That's a great point.
Right.
So. Here are the available free agents according to Spot Track. I'm assuming it got updated. Xavier Howard, I want to say he got in trouble for something the other day.
Yeah, you're not messing with that, dude. He's a horrible human being.
He's a horrible human being. Got it. All right.
Yeah, it's bad.
I believe you. I'd rather us not get into it too. I mean, when you say something's horrible, Jacob, I get nervous. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, bro. If even half of what they accuse him of is true, the Packers aren't going to touch that. Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
You got J.C. Jackson, who played in New England last year. You got Adoree Jackson, who played for the Giants. Stephon Gilmore's still out there for Dallas. He probably just don't want to go to camp, right? He wants to wait until camp's over, then sign with somebody. Is he washed, you think?
Washed.
All right.
We saw that last year. We watched that.
I wouldn't mind.
You guys don't remember that? Or we haven't gotten to that yet.
I seen Dontavian Wicks cooking, but
boom, roasted. Yeah.
Boom, roasted.
Let's pull up Stephon Gilmore's grade here just to see how he finished. Because I trust you, Tim. But
would we even want to pay $10 million for him?
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
and that's just
maybe he's not washed.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong, but that's still you're overpriced. Even Patrick Peterson at $7 million is ridiculous.
I was going to say
he's not going to get $10 million, no doubt. Yeah.
No,
you might as well scroll to the bottom, man. If it's not under $1 million, I'm not signing them.
Hey, Shannon,
look who's down there. I was gonna say our boy Shannon.
1.2.
He's only 27.
All right. Look at y'all
He
getting excited.
He knows the place. He knows where the gym is and everything.
Yeah,
Jacob
where the
automatically goes down to the Ross section, don't he? He's down there. Let's go into the Clarence. Let's go see what Uncle Clarence has got for us.
I'm just looking at age. That's what I'm looking at now. I'm like Leo DiCaprio, baby. I'm looking young.
25-year-olds right here. You got Guidry Jr. We got Bassey. You got a couple guys in there, man.
Kyler McMichael, sure.
Yeah. So there you go. And as far as Stephon Gilmore, last year he graded out 74.4 was his final grade. Coverage was 72.3, but obviously Dontavian Wicks posterized my man there in that playoff matchup. So I know that's what Tim's remembering. Keep on remembering it, Tim. We'll play that back over and over.
I'm willing to bet it isn't the only highlight from last year that Gilmore looked like that. And maybe washed is a bit harsh, but definitely lost a step. Definitely looks like a guy in his early 30s. Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to see if there's a market for him. I don't see a market value anywhere. So sometimes it's off to the side. Oh, wait, market value? Well, no, that won't be for him. Maybe it will.
Is that $100 million?
So they got it at $9 million. They said shave off 10. Did you see Dontavian Wicks cook him? Let's take a milli off of that. All right. So they've got his market value at $9 million with it doesn't talk about guaranteed, does it? There's how they calculated it out. Just 1 year, $8.9 million is what they've got him at. So I wouldn't want to pay that because you progress stock. If you can get him for $3-4 million, I'd be okay with it. Right.
How much would you expect him to play?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? I mean,
but here's the thing: is if you pay them anything, even like even realistically, if you pay them anything above $3 million, you almost are handcuffed that you have to try to get them to play as much as possible, just because of the fact that it's wasted money. Especially if you have 3 or 4 guys that are only making. Would we? Say
you mean like we did with
800,000? Well, basically, yeah. That's basically my worry is that we have to force this round peg in this square hole because we spent $8 million on them or whatever the heck it was, and the full time. What did we watch over and over with these reviews? That's the main reason. That and a few other players that aren't here anymore of consistently whiffing, consistently not making plays, over pursuing, under pursuing, not tackling. I mean, it's tough to do when you sign up for multi-million-dollar contracts for single years and stuff.
And how many corners are we actually going to need if we're trying to run big nickel a lot more? I mean, how often are we going to be in dime?
That's the thing. We're forgetting about Bullard. We're forgetting about Bullard, Williams, and Oladapo and how they're going to be used.
Because at some point you got to give up a spot, right? So if we're not going to carry 7 or 8 corners in, then we're going to make spots up in the safety room and be able to walk them down.
Yeah, here was the final 53 as we broke camp last year. We only carried 4 corners last year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. We carried 5 safeties. So there's probably a chance. I would say if you're looking to play big nickel, which I think we're all kind of guessing that Hafley is, probably break camp with 4 corners again. If you try to go that route, though, you're going to lose pretty decent ball players. I mean, that, like you said, that cornerback room, we feel pretty decent about it as it sits right now. But obviously last year, Jair Alexander, Rasul Douglas, Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Ballantyne. You'll probably throw Ballantyne in there For me, I would replace Rasul Douglas with Ballantyne there. And then, of course, you got Kalen King, so you got to carry 5. You're keeping Kalen King. I think that there's going to be a lot of value on him. I could see someone wanting to sign him to their 53 if he did try to stash him on the practice squad. Maybe Ballantyne doesn't make the roster. I don't know, man. But one thing's for sure, there's going to be some tough decisions made on this 53-man roster, probably more so than years here recently, for sure. So, all right, good stuff, man. I'm glad they brought up the cornerback room because that's a great topic, great conversation for sure. There was something else I wanted to hit on. Here you go. Check this out. So Rashawn Gary, first of all, the Packers tweeted this out and put dialed in, right? And I love Rashawn quote tweeted them and put facts, whole squad dialed in 100. Cheesehead emoji and the angry emoji. So pretty cool that they put a little shine on Rashawn Gary on Bain. And what did Rashawn do? As great leaders do, you absorb criticism and you redistribute praise. And that's exactly what he did. Whole squad's dialed in. I'm excited to see what Rashawn Gary does with his hand in the dirt and playing defensive end in this 4-3, fellas. I think it's going to be a good year for Gary. How y'all feel about him going in? And again, fully healthy this time. Remember last year he's coming off that ACL. So,
like you said, man, hand in the dirt. I'm fired up for that. Him and LVN, as far as I'm concerned, are probably my first two that I'm excited to see playing with their hand in the dirt, man. And the 4-3 is going to be fun. It's been a while, boys and girls. So we're in for a treat. We've got guys built for this system. We've been waiting a while, right? We've been waiting a while for some aggression and a different approach defensively, and we're fired up, man. I know you guys are too.
Definitely. Angus McHaggis, also known a.k.a. Prince, says, so we rumbling tonight. Yes, sir, we are. Coach Lynn in the chat says, if we need a free agent perimeter corner, I'd rather have Adoree Jackson. I could see that. See, if I remember correctly, Adoree Jackson's a little bit bigger corner too, a little bit longer, if I remember correctly, like a little taller, definitely over 6 foot. And I like what Ron Sanville says here. Clayton's going to need a prison tat soon. What we do?
That's just a way to talk in the clink.
Instead of the teardrop tattoo, right? For how many suspensions we got on YouTube, I'm going to put the little YouTube sign. So we'll get 2 YouTube symbols underneath my eye there. We'll be good to go. All right, so that's how that works. Appreciate you.
I love 5 words from Rashawn can get people fired up, right? That's all it took. That's all it took. 2 pictures and 5 words, and it got me fired up. So I can imagine what the actual squad is feeling.
Yeah,
you did it last year with 4 words. Remember? Stop playing with them.
That's right. With them was 1 though, right? Stop.
Well, yeah, so 3 words. Yeah.
3. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love it, man. Rashawn Gary, dude. I couldn't get on board with the slander last year, man. Dude, just and again, it's like after the Giants game, you could tell they dialed him back a touch. Like, all right, we got to stop rushing up past the quarterback. And before that, I mean, you're talking about games where you have multi-sacks and a couple of different games, right? Had 3 sacks on Thanksgiving, had a couple of sacks in another game early in the season as well. I think he's going to ball out this year for sure.
Right. And what's our plan now? Get after the quarterback and get turnovers?
Yep, exactly.
I'm excited.
The last defense was a little less suited for him and his skill. If they're going to put his hand in the dirt and him just pin his ears back and go after the quarterback, play one gap and hit it, he no longer has to set that edge as much because you got those 3 stacked backers behind him. He can really be aggressive and attack the inside.
He could be. That's what I'm thinking about is the fact that his get off. Like he used to go sometimes put his hand in the dirt, if you remember, but usually it was that kind of awkward, I'm about to cat pounce on you stance. But it's like, I feel like he's going to have a better get off just bursting out of that almost track like stance. And I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see if Kingsley and Abari can do that as well. I think LVN's going to have that way more naturally because I feel like he did that more in Iowa. And then also my dude, Brenton Cox Jr., when he had his hands in the dirt, he was explosive. It didn't do it a lot, but it was fun to watch. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
and letting him fire off the ball, Clayton, isn't that going to help too? When he's looking down the line, staring at the ball, being able to just go, drive and go instead of having to worry about, like you said, setting the edge or stand up, curl, turn him back inside, sort of thing. Let the dude eat, man. He's hungry.
When you are in base here, what's essentially going to happen? Last year we had that 34 jam look, and when you have that look with Rashawn Gary playing edge, he's got to kind of set that edge, right? He's got to stay out here on this outside shoulder, work it, set the edge, make sure they don't bounce out, then work your way to the quarterback. Right. Well, what's cool is now that you're going to have a stack backer behind you in this base. Let me do this real quick here.
It was a contain rush that Rashawn was doing, right? So he's trying to set the edge and not let it get outside of him.
So now that you got that stack backer behind you, he can just attack that one gap, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can just get in here and attack, and it's up to this Sam to play, which gap he's going to attack. Before in the 34 jam, these guys up front, the defensive tackles, are kind of playing two gaps for the most part when you're in a 34 jam. And you got to be able to be patient on the outside to set the edge. So you're kind of playing the run, right? Now you can attack the quarterback. In this situation, it's, hey, this is your gap, whether you're attacking the inside shoulder of the tight end, which obviously would be a 7-eye, or I'm sorry, not 7-eye, it'd be a 2 for a 6-eye. Or if you're going to be lined up a little bit further inside and attacking that 4-eye, grab your gap and go. There's going to be more of that. It doesn't mean he's not going to have to set the edge from time to time, but what it does mean is there's going to be more of him just playing that one gap and attack.
Right, and it opens up that individual game with the guy across from him too, because if you're setting him up, he's going for the 4 gap. He sets him up to the outside, then dips in the 4 gap. That even opens up the backer even more to his 6 gap. So all those little games are going to be cool to see. Attacking one half of the man. If you can break through one half of the guy in front of you, you got a shot at blowing up a play. So all that little stuff.
Definitely. Coach Lynn says, don't forget Wooden might get reps at edge also. I'll tell you another one, too, that did it at college is Jacob's boy, Carl Brooks. He played a ton of defensive end at Bowling Green. So it kind of feels like, if you go to the interior defensive line position and you look at it, you've got, Kenny Clark, you've got Devontae Wyatt, and obviously you're going to have TJ Slayton that can kind of play that big nose if you need to in a pinch. If you want to come to like a 5-man front, want to play him on a little shade, you can do that. But you've got Carl Brooks and Kobe Wooden that can play inside and outside if need be. They're pretty deep up front, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's not forget that Brooks played, I think, predominantly, or at least a very big amount of that time at Bowling Green at that DN spot, and he didn't just do okay. He scored like a 93 PFF grade. Like he was,
I think the highest PFF grade in college football, if I remember correctly.
Lineman grade, I think, that year. So,
yeah,
giggity.
Ron Samble says, so if the rush is getting there in base, what makes them need to go to nickel? Because if you're in base and they're in 11 personnel, you now have a linebacker having to cover a tight end. So think of a Michael Mayer, think of a Luke Musgrave going up against Isaiah McDuffie. I'm probably throwing that ball to Luke Musgrave all day long, right? Mm-hmm. So you're gonna be a nickel. My guesstimation is 75 to roughly 83% of the time you're going to be a nickel. But when you are in base, there's no more of that. I've really got to ride this edge because you got those 2 stack backers on the outside behind you to clean up 2 gaps for you. That makes sense.
Clayton, though, could you imagine if we did have a backer that could run with a linebacker or with the tight end? Oh, yeah. So if we had a backer that had that physical, that ability and coverage ability, then yeah, we could stay in base maybe, 40% of the time and be able to fend off the run a lot longer, beat them in 11. But when they go to 10 personnel, that's when we're going to have to change.
Quay's probably the closest we have, right?
Right.
Does a lot of that too? You think you could get away with it more of like game time situational, like your first and second quarters, you're really playing more of, like Amelia said, trying to keep that linebacker in there that's really good at coverage so you can slow down that run, and maybe build a lead towards the end of the game, the third and fourth quarters. That team now doesn't have the ability to sit there and just milk the clock trying to dink and dunk with running plays. They have to actually start taking shots down the field. At that point, we bring in the big nickel package and just shut them down that way too. Like, that sounds like a reasonable game plan, right?
There's definitely more versatility. The thing that makes me hesitant, though, on just saying, yeah, we could play more base is there's no precedent across the league to suggest that. When you look at Houston was like 75% nickel. When you look at New York Jets, 81% nickel. And I want to say San Francisco was 80% nickel. So, you got to kind of go off a precedent. Now, listen, like I said before, Hafley may come in and surprise everybody and show a totally exotic look we haven't seen. I'm not anticipating that. I wouldn't put my money on it. But when you're talking about Emilio, I think it was Emilio and Jacob, we're talking about a linebacker that could cover a tight end. The one that comes to mind for me, I'm just being real, we've seen him cover the wheel route. We also seen him do really well underneath in coverage is Quay. Quay, in my opinion, I know everybody likes to think of him. He's a hybrid pass rusher. He can get on the line of scrimmage. He's going to be our Sam, or he's going to be our Will. I would really like to see him be that coverage linebacker for us. I would, because that seems to be what he does best, statistically speaking. So.
Which will help him in nickel anyway. So if he can excel in base, then that would be even better for us in nickel at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Coach Lynn says, we will stay in the 4-2-5 most of the time, I think. Absolutely. That's what I'm anticipating. It's going to be cool to see, too. We won't know until the end of the year, because one thing you can really get lost in season going, okay, so far this season we've been in nickel this percentage of time, and then the last 4 games of the season they completely flip that percentage. It's best to wait and look at it at the end as a whole. But yeah, I think that it's going to come down to matching up personnel, and every week is going to be different too. You know, that's something that Greg Cosell and Doug Ferrara talked about the other day on the X's and O's podcast. You're going to have some teams, some coaching staffs that are going to match up with tight ends a specific way. There may be a matchup one week where they like Xavier McKinney covering the tight end if it's a really strong tight end, if it's someone that's a really good pass catching tight end, someone like a Sam Laporta. That's going to be the tell of the tape, is when we get to the portion of the schedule where we play the Lions. I can't wait to see how Hafley plays the Lions and who he puts on Sam Laporta, especially if you're going to be playing more man coverage. And one of the games of the week here, we actually got 2 games of the week with Fox that Tom Brady is going to be calling. I'm really excited to hear Brady.
Man, who's prettier, Aaron Andrews or Tom Brady? Look at that guy. Wow.
Not that cat on the right, my man. I know that. But, so two different weeks we were picked as the Fox NFL America's Game of the Week. That's week 9, Lions at Lambeau, and then week 12, San Francisco 49ers at Lambeau. I cannot wait to get Devondre Campbell back in Lambeau Field, dude. I can't wait, man. I'm telling you, that dude, he made more excuses than our damn government, and he's going to act like he was the only reason we ever did anything correct. You wait till I can't wait to see him at Lambeau, man. I can't. I want to see Jordan Love and Luke Musgrave. I want to see Tucker Kraft with a crack back and just peel his game. That's what I want to see. So, anyway, let's end it on a positive note. I got to get to the airport. Gentlemen, parting thoughts. As we're banned once again, you bunch of rebels. You.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't show up and you guys just turn and burn. I don't know what happened.
Emilio misses 2 shows, comes back, and we've been banned from the internet.
Yeah, I got to go over there and explain to everybody in the comments to come over here. I can't, and then I can't even type out Rumble and YouTube, or else they'll shut it down. So I got to.
Emilio is our press secretary. That's what Emilio. He had to go over there. I know the dude.
I actually don't have anything on that right now.
I know the dude looks like he's pooping his pants, but he's doing a good job. That's what Emilio went over. Some of you obviously got that, but anyway. Is that all you got, Emilio? You good?
Yeah.
You better pull.
Yeah, Emilio's about to poop his pants.
What you got, Jacob? Anything, Bo?
Nah, man. I believe there is is there more training camp tomorrow?
13th, I thought. Let me pull up the dates.
13th.
Okay. And while you're pulling up the dates, just want to say thanks to Bates. Became a monthly supporter on Rumble. Appreciate you, Bates.
Yeah, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody in the Patreon group too. You guys and gals are awesome. If you guys are interested in joining that, in the video description, there's a link, or you can just go to patreon.com and search Packer Fan Total Access, one word. And we're going to do another giveaway here real soon as well. So, as far as the mini camp or the OTAs here, Jacob, it looks like the next one is going to be June 11th through the 13th.
Wednesday? Okay. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Thursday.
Yeah. So, and then then we'll break, and guess what it is, boys? Up next will be training camp, right? So let's get it. Tim, what you got? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jake.
Just one more thing. Yeah, just if you guys could share this, the Rumble stream, share the X stream, maybe post on your social media, because I'm hopefully that you guys have gotten to know each other in the chat and stuff. Because like I said, again, I was really surprised at how many people just were over there on YouTube thinking like, oh, they're not doing live shows anymore for the last time we got suspended. This time it's going to be 2 weeks, which is quite a long time. So we want to retain and get people to cross over to the Rumble, over to the X. And who knows, maybe at one point, to be honest, guys, I don't know how long we're going to even have a show on YouTube, because it looks like they've got us in their sights for whatever reason, because we have done nothing.
Not looking good for the home team. So
let's build up Rumble. Let's build up X, and then keep this thing going.
Yeah.
Screw YouTube.
That's right. Yeah. We need some of that true international pressure. Oh.
Oh my God.
Good stuff.
That's all Tim's got. We're good. So we're ready.
For those of you listening on the pod,
thank you for making us a part of your day, and take this with you too. Coach Lynn says Brady needs to ease up on that Botox. Let's get one more look at that, man. That is some.
He's starting to look a little
on a lemon.
Dang.
He
looked like he ate a whole bag of sweet tarts or something.
He's going full Zoolander right there. Blue
Yeah,
steel.
Kind of looks like a couple characters from Skyrim, but it'd be all right.
I don't know what that means.
Agus says PTA has crossed the Rubicon. Press Secretary Emilio. That's right.
Yeah, I just heard it right there from Thug Life Pelosi right there. I like that.
Oh boy.
This show sucks. We're gone. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow night for PTA Live. I'm sure we'll have something else cool to cook up here. We're going to be doing the Tampa Bay game soon. I might just spring it on the guys one evening so they can't cancel. Make them sit through it with me because it's going to be ugly. But
yeah, he tells us offline, "Oh, we're gonna hammer this great topic," and just bam.
If there's one thing that'll get us banned from Rumble, it'll be showing the Tampa Bay game. They're going to go, "How dare you have a channel and even show this defensive performance here?" So they'll that's what'll get that done. Bongino will be waiting on us for sure. He will not have any defense that bad on Showcase. So again, though, thanks everybody for hanging out with us as always. Let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.
The power sweep. Actually, it's the lead play in our offense. We ask our YN or a tight end to open up somewhere between 6 feet and 9 feet. Get an isolation with the linebacker. Tell the tackle to take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, to drive down on the first man to his inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here. And try to run this play in the alley.